Mixed signals about the economy as we head deeper into the holiday shopping season. The good news, yep, Americans seem to be out shopping. And a number of Americans are applying for unemployment. Well, that number actually went down last week, so that's good news, even as several high-profile companies announced some job cuts. But on the flip side, there are a few red flags to keep an eye on. John Deere, for example, says it's worried about the year ahead, and some small businesses are concerned about their sales because of tariffs. Well, my next guest wrote this op-ed in The Guardian this morning. Expect a tale of two holiday seasons as the well-off spend and the rest of us pull back. Those are the words of the good man, Gene Marks. He is the CEO of the Marks Group and an expert on small business. You know, I love talking business, and this is right up my alley. Let me share this headline. I want to begin with this one. This is actually from the Wall Street Journal before I dive into your thoughts on why you wrote what you wrote, because I can't wait to have you unpack that. But this is from the Journal. Quote, this is about John Deere. Our organization is used to managing cyclicality. Love that. But this year we faced an additional headwind of heightened uncertainty and a rapidly changing business environment. That according to the chief executive, John May, on a call with analysts. Okay, I get that. It seems a little pessimistic and a little specific to John Deere. I think broadly things feel, for most folks, okay. What do you think?
Yeah, first of all, Kevin, what would running a business be if there wasn't uncertainty, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
that's what for all the years I've been doing this, all I hear about is uncertainty. It depends on the industry. And yeah, John Deere sells into the agriculture industry, and there is uncertainty in that industry. Of course, there are tariffs that are threatening, the livelihoods of some of their farmers. But then on the other hand, when you look at some of the costs that these farmers are experiencing right now, just to speak directly to John Deere, just so you know, like animal feeds, pesticides, farm machinery and equipment, farm plows, pulverizers, all these different, other commodity farm products. I looked into this. You can do the same at the St. Louis, Federal Reserve site. Those products the price have been mostly unchanged since the beginning of the year.
Yep.
So there are a lot of farmers that are out there that are struggling with tariffs, but really inflation in that industry has really been brought under control. And I think the people at John Deere, they're trying to be conservative, but I don't think they're going to have such a bad year. We'll see.
Yeah, and we also have to let some of the tariffs play out and some of the trade negotiations play out. We don't really know what's going to happen between the U.S. and Canada. The USMCA is coming up. That could obviously change their fortunes. I think they're being a little bearish unnecessarily, but then again, I don't have a look behind the curtain. Let me share this. This is from the National Retail Federation Holiday Spending Forecast. You said a tale of two seasons, maybe two types of shoppers too. I'm going to share the numbers as you unpack what you're sensing as we look at spending, the spending forecast, 3.7 to 4.2% up from 2024.
Yeah, I mean, what was forecast not just by the National Retail Federation, but S&P and Deloitte and Adobe, they come out with all of their holiday sales forecasts and have been adjusting them. We're looking at a 4% increase in the holiday sales this season, despite all the negative prognostications. Walmart is another example. They just announced earnings last week, and their net sales have actually they're forecasting a climb in net sales to over 5%. Amazon, and we all buy from Amazon, right? I mean, they're forecasting a 12% net sales increase as well. So, and my clients when I have many small business clients around the country that are in the retail industry are telling me that they're having a pretty successful holiday season so far, and Small Business Saturday has gone well. I'm pretty bullish about the holidays. And if I can explain why, Kevin, when you look at the payroll numbers from the biggest payroll companies in the country, ADP is saying that people are getting raises anywhere between 4.5% and 6.7% over the past year. Now, we all know that inflation is at 3%. So, most workers are well beyond inflation right now. They're doing okay. The markets are up like 13%, 14% since the beginning of the year as well. So household wealth is at near historic highs. I think all of that comes into play when people are making their purchasing decisions this year. And I think that will be decisive. But in my Guardian column, I did want to warn that there is a tale of two holiday seasons. They're 10% of the wealthiest 10% make up 50% of the purchases during a holiday season. And, people that are hourly workers, for example, according to Paychex, are actually their pay raises have only been about at the rate of inflation. So there could be some offsetting stuff going on there. But overall, I do think it's going to be a fairly good holiday season, fairly strong. And I think we're seeing that already.
You know, I loved what you said, too. You said in one point of your column, you said, listen, there are restaurants selling $49 chicken parms, and there's some places where hotels at $7.50 a night are still sold out. But I think you really nailed it here. You said it doesn't mean that the remaining 90% of the U.S. won't be visiting stores, but it's guaranteed that they'll be spending less. That, I think, is the real difference. Yeah, people who have the cash, they can go out there and you know, go Prada and Gucci and do their thing. But for the rest of us, the slight pullback, do you think it'll be a modest pullback or a major pullback? Yeah. Last thoughts to you, 30 seconds.
I think it will be modest. I think that Walmart, Target, some of the other big brand sellers, including Amazon, are offering the discount, values. I think people will be showing up. I think they'll be spending a little bit less, but I don't think it will make a significant difference to holiday sales. Remember, right now, third quarter GDP, according to the Atlanta Fed, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, now projected to be at 4%, Kevin. So that's a strong GDP rate to go into the last quarter of the year. So I am pretty bullish looking forward.
Yeah, I'm just going to say it. Wait until there's a new Fed chair. Things get even hotter. Great to see you as always, Gene. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much. Great piece, by the way, in The Guardian. If you don't get a chance to check it out now, check it out a little bit later. Gene Marks, thank you.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.